Hello everyone. Today we're doing a Ask Me Anything with two of our inventory experts, if they can just introduce themselves real quick.
Yeah, my name is Clotilde. I'm business analyst and team leader of the inventory expert team.
And my name is Thomas. I'm the product owner for the app's inventory, barcode, purchase and shipping connectors.
And so, if you don't
Yeah.
mind.
So now we are ready for your questions. So you have here a QR code that redirects you to a pad where you can write down all your questions, and then we will take the time to answer them.
And we already have some questions on here. So the first question is, what is the vision of Odoo to integrate more mechanism and automation, as in with external WMS and or WCS for larger logistics warehouses?
I think the vision, according to that, is that today Odoo standard focus more on smaller company which doesn't have reached this level of automation yet. But also the problem is that the interfacing with these automation tools are as ad hoc, so it's per brand, I guess, and maybe one day, but probably not tomorrow. But that's also the job for our community and for partners to implement their own solution for that. But I guess it's possible to integrate Odoo with these automation tools.
So the next question is a question that came up in the previous talk as well, about being able to restrict the specific stock of products that a daughter company handles from the parent company. Is there any way to set up this configuration so they can only view those specific products?
But on the product you can put a company, if I'm right, if I don't...
That's correct.
So I think if your product is just only specific to a company, you just set the company on the product form and that's it.
The next question is half in French, so I'll try to translate it correctly. But is there any way to view how long a product is in stock in order to trace things that haven't been sold in a long time?
Yes, globally from the inventory evaluation report, if you go in pivot view by default, you will see the aging of the stock. So it means that each time that you have a positive valuation that enters, you see the date and you will see only the remaining quantity that stays from this layer. And in fact, it will give you the age of the remaining stock that is currently there. So if there is a stock that you bought, I don't know, 1 year ago, and there are still stock remaining on this valuation layer, you will see that this age of the stock that is remaining.
Yeah. And if you want to see the stock that didn't move at all, you can just use the last update date of those valuation layers and make a filter on that. So probably will solve the issue. It will reveal all valuation layers that haven't changed since a long time, for instance. It means that the product is totally idling.
The next question is maybe a little tricky. Is there any plan to integrate AI within inventory to help assess the minimum quantity to order?
This day will probably come one day. It's not on the roadmap yet, but AI is doing, we have more and more features of AI in Odoo, and at one time this will come, probably.
The next question is about lots, especially for foods with different expiration dates. Is there an easy way to clean up lots when you have some sort of chaotic lots stock situation due to the way that it's sold is not consistent?
So I'm not sure what is exactly the question, but globally for all the products that are tracked by a lot with expiration date, in different menu you are able to see the removal date, the alert date, the expiration date, and then you can put action accordingly. It could be a relocate, it could be a scrap, and you can clean your code, your stock. And otherwise I would say that it's also an internal organization inside your warehouse to make sure that you really remove the stock in the right order and it's aligned with the FIFO logic in the removal strategy.
Yeah, Also, there are expiration alerts on some lots, and I think that since 18, it's not possible to reserve automatically a lot that is already expired.
Yes, it's excluded by default, yes.
Yeah, indeed.
And this next question is about procurement or procurement groups. Is there any way to keep receipts separately and not have them get grouped together automatically?
Actually, the new push rules will solve this issue very easily. That's all I have to say.
The next question is about the new, I think it's about the valuation for lots. It's saying with the new cost per serial numbers, is there a way to sell a specific sell price per serial?
It's not possible yet. I discussed this part with the sales. They want to go in that direction, and it probably come in 19. If not, probably after.
And then in addition to that question, is it also possible to have specific photos, descriptions, and attributes per serial as well?
Yeah, totally. It's we introduced the properties in 17, and now you have you can have specific properties per product and per lot. So if you create a property on a lot, you will have this property on all lots for the same product, but of course the value will be editable for each lot.
This new question is another newer feature. Is it possible to use lots and serial numbers shared among intercompanies?
Totally. Since version 18, the lots are not company specific. They travel between companies, and so you have a full traceability report between the companies.
This next one is someone's confirming about a rumor, which confuses me a little because it says they heard landed costs are going away in 18. Is this true?
What?
What?
That landed costs are going away in 18.
No.
No, not at all.
No, it's still
Fake
there.
news.
And you have seen with the previous talk from inventory evaluation that landed costs were still there.
Yeah.
So no, everything's fine.
This next question is asking for advice. If you have a warehouse with a rotation of 10 to 20,000 products every week, how would you make stock counting more efficient and less error prone when you don't have RFID?
I would the stock counting, but I would actually do cycle count. So on some location, on the important location, I would make cycle count on a more frequent way and less frequent for less important locations. So.
I think the next question is asking about how intercompany or inter-branch transfers occur, not inter-company. I think that maybe has to do with the subsidiaries, maybe?
No, it's intercompany, inter-branch transfer are working exactly like intercompany transfers. Just currently, stock-wise, branches are considered as totally different companies. So they have their own valuation.
Sorry. This next question, I think maybe they're not using it quite correctly, but they're saying regarding lots and serial properties, which were added in 17, are they still lumped into one field or can they be exported, imported in 18?
No, it's still one field for all the properties you add, in fact, yes.
The next question is still being written in real time, so I can maybe repeat a question that was from the previous talk already, because this person really wants to know. Is there any way to show in a report a product, the stock for a product in 2 different units of measurements?
No, globally no, but what you could do if there is a specific conversion and you have a spreadsheet or you have really always the same conversion, you could add with Studio or with a development another column where you do the conversion. But if there is no strict conversion, multiply, no, it won't work.
And they also want to know if there's any way to switch which unit is showing.
What?
They also want to know if there's any way to show which unit shows without changing the default unit of measure for each product.
I'm not sure to understand.
I think they just want to be able to change, for example, if you have units, to show in your report dozens instead.
No, that's not possible, I think. If you change unit, UM of a product from unit to dozen, it will stay. If you have 5 units, it becomes 5,000, I believe. But not sure, I have to test about that.
Another question going back to the properties is that I think someone might have mentioned earlier something about the properties could possibly be images. They want to confirm if they heard that correctly.
I have to check, but globally when you add properties, you can select the different type of the field you would like to add, like many to one or selection field. So I suppose yes, image, but
No, I
I
don't think
wasn't
so.
totally sure.
I
in fact.
don't think so. But to be checked.
But
It's easy to check,
yeah,
basically.
otherwise, it's a good feedback, and I think there is no chatter for the moment for the lots and sale number, but it could be a good way to add
Yeah.
extra information related to the lots and sale number.
Yeah.
This next one is another could you give me advice question. So they have a shop of food products and they are wondering if it's better to recommend, they were wondering if it's better to define locations for each shelf and then store the products in each of these locations, or would you have one location for the entire shop?
When we speak about shop, usually it's always better to go for a warehouse. Because, for example, for the website, you can already separate really the stock per website in this case, or make sure that you really have a separated stock per shop or per, I would say, location that are available to pick the item. If you do locations, you can do it, but I think it will be more messy at the end.
Yeah, obviously in a shop it depends the size of the shop, but usually in a shop your products are classified by product category, so it's easy to find them. Unless probably if you have a very big shop and you have an e-commerce and you have to send guys to pick at the right product at the right location to speed up their operation, maybe you can set the location, but I guess it's not necessary to have locations inside of a shop.
But if you have a specific use case, you can go to the product booth, and like this we have the full picture of the need, otherwise it's a bit complicated to
Yeah.
give real good advice.
The next question is it possible to set 2 different unit of measures that belong to different categories for the same products?
Not.
No, if you want to do that, I recommend to use packaging instead.
The next question is it possible to adapt routes to keep the old MTO behavior in 18?
Yes, it's totally possible. You just have to basically recreate the routes and apply it on your warehouse. So it takes just a couple of minutes to do it, just 1 or 2 minutes, if you are familiar with routes and roads.
Sorry, they want to know specifically for MTO when they're not looking at stock availabilities.
You just choose the trigger another rule directly, because you can choose between take from stock and if unavailable trigger another rule. But if you take directly trigger another rule, it won't check the stock and it will trigger directly the buy route, for example, or the manufacturer route. So in this case, you really make sure that you are really directly creating something else.
This next one is another very specific use case advice question. Going back to the being able to sell by serial, having a sell price by serial number, they're wondering if it's better to create different products for each serial number in this case so that they can set the different prices, or is it better to do it some other way?
Well, that's not what I would recommend. I would recommend to make the sale order and then confirm it, and then you can select, you can already reserve the lot or serial that you want to deliver. So it's, in my opinion, way more easy. But it would require the salesperson to go in the delivery operation. Yeah.
But yeah, you could imagine like with Studio to have a little customization on your sale order, to be able to choose on the sale order the sale number, adapt the price as you want, but you won't have a specific price related to your sale number, and then you have to pay attention, make sure that when you reserve, you really take the one that was requested from the sale order. So each request also user that is really attentive to what he does.
Yeah, basically, if we had the serial in the sale order, it would be more like a preference than a strict operation, because by the time you confirm your sale order, maybe the serial is already gone. So.
All right, the next question is going back to inter-warehouse transfers. Is there any way to add a security lead time or a security time to the lead time of the replenishment between them?
You can add a lead time, in fact, on the rule in your route.
Yeah.
And like this, you can say that it will, for example, take 2 days to go to Spain, for example. But this, it's on the rule. If you go in debug mode, in debug mode, you will see the field lead time on the rule, and then you can just add how many days you want.
So the next question is maybe more, why did we choose that name? Is why are transfers between warehouses called internal transfers, and what exactly is meant by internal transfer?
It means that it stays in the company. That means, yeah, that's why it's internal transfer. It's internal in the company, not, indeed it's inter-warehouse, but you can call it the way you want, actually.
Sorry, the next questions are still being written. I think the next question is another advice question for how to manage your lot versus the supplier lot within your stock.
Sorry?
So, for example, you have your own lot number, but the supplier has their lot number as well. How do you manage this tracking within your stock?
And what's the point of having that?
But globally, the idea is that if you don't want to follow the lot number from the supplier, you can create your own at the receipt. The only thing is how to collect the old one in your, I would say, in your PO or on your receipt to keep the history of both. But this, you can maybe use the chatter, but at a certain point, either you use the one from your supplier and you keep the traceability, or you create your own, but in this case, you need just to keep the history somewhere to make sure that you can retrieve it.
Yeah.
But you cannot have both at the same time, or you can use, for example, properties and add, but it will be more manual, in fact, at the end.
Yeah, but for me that's pretty strange behavior to have that, because breaking the traceability, it's obviously that. So.
I think this next question is asking, is it possible to have different sequences for lot numbering within the, or for different products, or within a product category?
Actually, the sequence of serials, when you create them, you're just taking the last serials and increment it. So basically, you can select the sequence that you want per product. If you are manufacturing, if you're receiving, you are just receiving the serials of your customer, of your vendor. Sorry. So.
But at the receipt, you cannot say that the last one was this one, and the system remember that the last one was, I don't know, finishing by 9, and then the next one will be 10. So this, no, it's not automatic.
Nope.
It's only for manufacturing that when you create, it continue on the same sequence.
This next question is about consignment. Is it possible to sell and transfer products from a company warehouse to a consignment inventory?
It's possible, but you have to create. So if you have products that are in another warehouse that you don't own, but you still own it, you can just create it as a separate warehouse and say consignment warehouse or something, and then send the products there. So yeah, it's possible. You can also consign products from your from other people. So you can change the owner of a quant in Odoo to say, and this will not count as a valuation. So if the product is not yours, it's not in your valuation.
The next question I'm going to skip because it's a very specific use case. I recommend if that person is here to come just by our booth to ask.
Yeah.
The one after that is it possible to set frequency for cyclic counting within the products category?
It's not by category, it's more by location. The reason why is that usually, let's assume that you have a category of product. Sometimes you have a product that sells very often and the other one that sells, yeah, 1-2 times a year. So what's the point of counting that product that probably never move every 10 days? Usually you put the product that are sold the most often on the location that are the closest from your gates or from your operations. So it's that's why we do cycle counting on locations only.
But yeah, otherwise you will have just to create a specific location for this category and apply this on the location, but it complexifies just for that all your locations.
Indeed.
So you need to choose.
So the next question is another advice question. How would you set up Odoo to manage alternative locations for managing spare parts for the full flow of purchase, manufacturing orders, storage, and sales?
I'm not sure to understand the question.
I think they mean if they have spare parts that they have different locations, how would you manage the management of having these different locations and making sure that the flow works correctly?
It depends of your rules, basically. So
I think we need more detail, and I think again for this kind of question, it's better to go to the product booth. We already made some project with this kind of use case, so just go there and we will help you there.
The next few questions, I don't fully understand them. I think what they mean, at least for the last question, is if you're not using sublocations within a warehouse, how would you keep track of empty shelves?
that's a good question. Actually, if you go to the locations, there is no checkbox for empty in the list of locations. You can see the ones that are empty directly from the list of locations.
So yeah, from Odoo 18 now you have a new computed field that show you when you are in the menu locations, which location is empty. But so if you want to see per shelf which one is empty or per location specifically, then you need to create more locations. If you have only WH stock, the system cannot know which shelf is empty. You need, in this case, to go more further in the detail of your locations and create a specific location per product, maybe if you are in a shop, because you have specific location for each product, and then you are able to do some reporting about how many missing products you have in your stock.
Yeah.
The last few questions are also specific to the person's business use case, so I again recommend to come by our booth if possible, or if you're not here in person, you can always try on Odoo.com. I think we have a lot of sales representatives who might be able to help with stuff like that. And I have no new questions for now.
Okay, good.
Thank you, and yeah.